Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're diving into a really timeless question, using some ancient wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita. And that question is, how do we actually develop a deeper understanding of the world? How do we learn to see beyond the surface of things?
Just think about it for a second. We are constantly flooded with images, with headlines, with first impressions. But how much of what we're taking in is the real story? And how much is just, the shiny surface?
You see it all the time, right? You scroll through your feed, and it's all perfect vacations, flawless selfies, amazing lives. But we all know, deep down, there's a much more complex and often messy reality happening right behind the camera. There's this huge gap between the appearance and the actual truth.
Or, think about meeting someone new. They might come off as super confident, but that exterior could be masking some deep insecurity. And on the flip side, a quiet person could have this incredible inner strength. Our first judgments are often just a tiny sketch of a much, much deeper person.
And it's not just people, it's information too. You see a simple, emotional headline that's designed to get a quick reaction from you. But that headline can totally obscure the nuanced, complicated story underneath. We're trained to react to the surface, not the substance. Okay, so let's get into it. The text we're looking at today suggests that this visible, tangible world, this world of headlines and first impressions, is really just the very first layer of what's real. So according to this wisdom, our reality is made up of what it calls 8 separated material energies. Now this includes the 5 big physical elements we all know, earth, water, fire, and so on. But, and this is key, it also includes 3 subtle ones that shape our inner world: our mind, our intelligence, and what's called the false ego. That's that persistent sense of, I am this body, or these things are mine.
But that's just the hardware. Beneath all of that, the text describes a superior energy. Think of it like the software that actually makes the whole system run.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The text makes this clear distinction. The material world, the earth, water, all that stuff, is called the inferior energy. Why? Because on its own, it's inert. It doesn't do anything. It's the superior energy, the life force, the consciousness inside living beings like us, that actually uses and animates the material world, giving it purpose. You could almost say the universe is alive because we're in it.
So if we've got these 2 layers, the physical world and the life force moving through it, what's holding it all together? What is the fundamental reality that connects every single thing?
And the text offers this just beautiful metaphor. Imagine every part of reality, the material world, every living being, as an individual pearl. The text says there is an unseen thread that runs through and supports every single one of them, unifying them all into a single perfect necklace.
This metaphor really gets to the core idea. What it's saying is that there's an ultimate source, an absolute truth that is the origin of everything, and it's the place everything returns to. And the reason we so often fail to see this connecting thread is because we're completely fixated on the individual pearls. So this brings up a huge question, right? If this deeper, unifying reality actually exists, why is it so incredibly hard for most of us to see it in our daily lives? Why are we so stuck just looking at the surface? Well, the text has an answer for that. It talks about a powerful, almost bewildering energy called Maya. The best way to think of it is like a filter or a veil that's draped over our perception. It's this powerful illusion that makes the temporary, material world seem like the one and only reality, and it hides that deeper truth from our sight. And this illusion, this Maya, is woven from 3 different modes or qualities that color our entire experience. There's goodness, which brings clarity and focus. There's passion, which drives that intense desire and action. And then there's ignorance, which creates confusion and that feeling of inertia, like when you're just mindlessly scrolling. We are always under the influence of these modes, and they keep us tangled up in surface-level reactions. And here is the absolute kicker. The text says that our fundamental attachment to likes and dislikes, what we desperately desire and what we desperately hate, that is the very engine that keeps us trapped in this surface-level illusion. Okay, so we get the problem, right? We're stuck on the surface, and there's this veil of illusion. So how do we pierce that veil? The good news is, the text also lays out a path for developing the kind of discernment we need to see beyond it.
So, according to the text, people start to look beyond the surface for all kinds of reasons. For some people, it's suffering. They're just looking for relief. For others, it's wanting something, maybe wealth or success. Some are just intellectually curious. They want to know how things work. And then there are those who are driven by a pure search for the absolute truth.
Now, while all of these paths are seen as totally valid starting points for the journey, the text gives special praise to the one who seeks knowledge for its own sake, not for relief, not for personal gain, but purely to understand the absolute truth. That path is said to form the deepest possible connection to that underlying reality we've been talking about. But let's be real, the text makes it very clear that this is not some quick life hack. Developing this incredibly profound level of discernment, the ability to see the thread connecting all the pearls, is described as a rare and truly momentous achievement. It's the culmination of a very, very long spiritual journey.
So what's the big takeaway for us, right here, right now? It's really a challenge. It's a call to action. Stop reacting to surfaces. Whether you're looking at a social media post, meeting a new person, or even examining your own thoughts, train yourself to just pause and ask, what's the unseen pattern here? What's the deeper motivation? What is really happening beneath it all? Because developing that deeper understanding, that is what leads to better decisions in our relationships, in our careers, and in our own personal growth.